World leaders are wrapping up a big full week of speeches at the United Nations General Assembly. This week, the United Nations Security Council passed a unanimous vote to establish a team to hold accountable crimes committed by ISIS in Iraq. On the sidelines, one organization that monitors the United Nations is working with member nations to implement a new program that teaches children to recognize their human dignity. Joining me now via Skype is Anna Halpine, founder and CEO of World Youth Alliance. You may remember I interviewed Anna earlier this week while reporting at the United Nations. Anna, good to have you back on the program. Your organization has launched the Human Dignity Curriculum, a program for children to learn about their sexuality, and it meets the guidelines of the United Nations. What are the core values that your program teaches children?
Thanks, Wyatt. It's great to be back on this conversation with you. The Human Dignity Curriculum is really focused on building a strong base of human anthropology in order to then have the ability to discuss human sexuality. So what does that mean? It means that we really invest in helping the child to understand, who am I? And then what does that mean in terms of the choices they make about how they live? So the Human Dignity Curriculum is really focused on building answers that young children know about whether they have human dignity, what that means about human freedom, and how they can make choices to accomplish and achieve human excellence.
How does your program align then with the United Nations declarations on human rights and respect the dignity of the human person?
The curriculum is totally based in the ideas of the dignity of the human person and teaching children how to respect their own and to respect the dignity of others. This, of course, fulfills the preamble to the United Nations Declaration on Human Rights. But more importantly, in a sense, for schools and governments, it also meets considerations and guidelines that the WHO and other UN agencies have set up to be guiding standards for the adoption of sexual education. We also know that the latest educational research prioritizes a strong development of personal identity in children, and this curriculum really focuses in doing that. And so we know that if we can really give our children these critical answers to what are, in actual fact, deep philosophical questions, what we're seeing concretely is better outcomes in risk behavior reduction, which translates to less sexual activity, better behavioral attitudes, less experimentation in drugs and other behaviors that really set them back.
Sure, really important values here. The curriculum is still in a pilot program, so what's the next step?
The Human Dignity Curriculum has been released for public use for the grades kindergarten through 8, but the sexual education model that's a sort of lock-in key with that is finalizing its last pilot round with public charter schools in New York State. That will be released in 2018. And following that, we'll be releasing both the anthropological content for grades 9 to 12, as well as the sexual education component for those grades.
Well, it sounds fascinating, and we wish you guys the best of luck with implementing and promoting that curriculum. Anna Halpine, founder and CEO of World Youth Alliance, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thanks very much.